Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Really nice. Well, I'll tell you, today was a gorgeous day. 70 degrees, blue sky, not a fucking cloud in it, sun radiant. God, oh man, best day, even better than any day in the summer. Best day of the year it was. And we got at least, you know, three or four more days of this mild weather here coming our way. And you know, it's Christ, I didn't even have to wear my jacket. I went outside and everybody's in shorts and short sleeves and jogging, and it felt like it was summer again. You know, it's just Christ, a beautiful friggin' day. I mean, if there's any time to come visit Maine right now, now is the time. Come up here now, because the weather's great right now, at least for the foreseeable few days, and enjoy it. You know, enjoy the friggin' weather now. You know, as I surf YouTube, as I often do, looking up videos and stuff like that, ran across a couple of videos that I wanted to share with all of you, and hopefully you don't mind this. This first one I'm going to play is about 8 minutes long, and it's about Donald Trump, and he went to an Al Smith memorial dinner in New York City, and apparently it was quite a shit show for him anyway, but they had a whole bunch of people there, and he was trying to be funny, but apparently, you know, his jokes were falling flat one after the other, because he can't do humor, he can't do funny. You know, when he tries to do funny, it doesn't sound like he's telling a joke. It sounds very, you know, serious and you know, almost hateful in a way. So yeah, he was trying to do that, and anyway, this video here will kind of explain it better. So let's go to that, and I'll catch you on the other side.
Thank you very much.
That was Trump getting booed as he wrapped up his set at the Al Smith dinner, and it was probably owed to some combination of his character and the jokes that he told. And when I say jokes, that's a generous interpretation.
Looked at me and said, "Don't." Does anybody understand that? Yes. I thought it was actually very good until just now. It was announced this morning that at a funeral yesterday, in a rare moment of clarity, Joe told Barack Hussein Obama that, quote, only a few people got that. Or as Rush Limbaugh used to say, Barack Hussein Obama. Remember, bro? He was a piece of work. We miss him. But as he told Barack Hussein Obama, quote, "She's not as strong as me. She's not as strong. Do you understand that?" And Obama agreed, saying, "That's true. Other than that, I think the Democrats are getting along quite well." Right? Nobody got that one.
Ah, yes, the number one rule of comedy: follow every failed punchline with an acknowledgement that no one understands your jokes. At first, I wondered why the Republican nominee for President of the United States couldn't find a better joke writer, but considering the only right-wing comedians are Dennis Miller and Larry the Cable Guy, kind of makes sense. Trump then tries to score a point over the fact that Kamala Harris didn't attend.
The two candidates for president are supposed to exchange good-natured barbs, and you know we get along very well. I didn't like Biden very much, and now I like him quite a bit. You know, and now I say that she's much worse than him. He was a much better candidate than her, actually. And when we hopefully win, dispose of her, I like her a lot, but right now I can't stand her. It's true. I can't stand her. I've never liked people that I was competing against. When you do, a lot of bad things happen, and we are doing well. By the way, the votes are starting to come in. You got to get out and vote. And Catholics, you got to vote for me. Just remember. You better remember I'm here, and she's not. I could have done that too.
Now, I know that Trump was falling over himself to bash Kamala Harris for not being there. That Trump accepted the invitation and she didn't, and so what does that say about her? Two things on that. First, Trump has so far bailed on a second debate with Kamala, a CNBC interview, an NBC interview, a Politico interview, a 60 Minutes interview, an interview with the Shade Room, and even an NRA rally. Him going to the Al Smith dinner to vomit out some shitty jokes and take zero questions doesn't negate the fact that he is terrified of actually facing a critical journalist. And the fact that Kamala did go on to Fox News, did do a 60 Minutes interview, did do Howard Stern and All the Smoke and call her daddy goes to show that she'll sit down with anyone, left, right, or center, and defend her record and her platform. Perhaps Donald Trump should give that a try. But here's the more important point. To all those people who say that Kamala should have gone and engaged in a moment of levity during this tough campaign, Trump doesn't deserve levity. Trump doesn't deserve to be viewed in the same prism as other political candidates. Trump doesn't deserve the normalization that comes with some lighthearted jabs back and forth at the Al Smith dinner. Donald Trump is a despot who tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power for the first time in this country's history. He is a threat to democracy who is again deploying the same tactics to undermine this election, just like he did in 2020. Fuck this idea that he is entitled to some levity at the hands of Kamala Harris. She does not need to stand next to this guy and yuck it up like he's John McCain or Mitt Romney. He's not. He is a convicted felon, a sexual predator, a con artist, a grifter, and a fraud. And look, I'm not a big religion guy, but one would think that the Al Smith Memorial Foundation, which purports to support Catholic charities, would have a higher standard than allowing a person like this to headline their event. I am unmoved by the fact that it's tradition to have a presidential candidate speak. Have some respect for the values that your religion purports to represent. To that point, perhaps the Al Smith Memorial Foundation should be less focused on black tie galas where they have to wine and dine convicted felons whose priority is to cut taxes for billionaires, and more focused on messages like this one promoted by Texas State legislator James Tallarico.
The Bible doesn't mention abortion or gay marriage, but it goes on and on about forgiving debt, liberating the poor, and healing the sick. Christian nationalists like to say this is a Christian nation. Not only is that historically inaccurate, not only is that theologically blasphemous, but it's also just not true. Look around us. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would forgive student debt. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would guarantee health care to every single person. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would love all of our LGBTQ neighbors. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would make sure every child in this state and in this country was housed, fed, clothed, educated, and insured. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would never make it a Christian nation, because we know the table of fellowship is open to everybody, including our Buddhist, Hindu, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, and atheist neighbors. Jesus could have started a Christian theocracy, but love would never do that. The closest thing we have to the kingdom of heaven is a multiracial, multicultural democracy where power is truly shared among all people, something that's yet to exist in human history.
And look, I'm certainly no authority on Christianity or any religion, although by birthright I feel like I'm somewhat of an authority on bagels and guilt. But I can say with a degree of certainty that the Republican platform runs completely and wholly antithetical to the teachings of all religion, but especially Christianity. Their agenda is predicated on stripping the sick and elderly of health care by refusing to expand Medicaid, which gives health coverage to millions of low-income Americans, and relentlessly trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act. They pass tax cuts that overwhelmingly favor the rich, in stark contrast to Scripture condemning luxury. It was Jesus who said, "It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter heaven." And yet their entire economic agenda is a giveaway to those very people. Donald Trump literally ran his 2016 campaign, and again in 2020, and once more in 2024, on blocking refugees from Mexico and vilifying immigrants and migrants across the country. I mean, come on, people. Jesus Christ himself was literally a refugee. How much more diametrically opposed to the teachings of Christ could you get than vilifying refugees in the name of a literal refugee? These people will hide behind Christianity while supporting policies and people who stand in stark contrast to the actual values of that religion. I mean, why are we pretending that we don't know what Jesus himself stood for? He was an immigrant who said to help the poor, welcome strangers, and called hypocrites wolves in sheep's clothing. It's like the Republican Party looked at the Bible when drawing their party platform and decided that every single one of their positions would be the polar opposite of what that book said. Here's the thing. Trump and his magnified Republican Party has shown that it will use any tool they have as a cudgel to divide people. That is how they win elections. They appeal to their supporters' fear of other people, of gay people, of brown people, of liberal people, of people who don't believe in God, of people who don't have money, of people who seek better lives away from their home countries. They will always focus on the other because their political viability as a party relies on it. And look, I want to be clear that this is in no way an attack on Christianity, but it is to expose those who so wrongly pervert Christianity and Catholicism to spread bigotry and intolerance and harm onto people who don't share the same views as they do. Or as the Bible says, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves.
Okay, so yeah, as you could see, you know, there's a lot of things there that are troubling about that dinner, you know, and one of the things is that, you know, you got, you know, the Catholic Church there, or, you know, Christians at this thing, you know, supporting a man that's a goddamn criminal. You know, he's a rapist, he's a criminal, he's a felon. I mean, and why do these people who are supposed to be so religious and all that, why do they do this? Why do they do that? Why, you know, this is the mentality of the single issue voter that I always have a problem with. Okay, these people who only care about one issue, and as far as the Catholics being there concerned, the only thing they care about is the abortion ban. Okay, that's the only reason they're there, to support him. Okay, but everything else they don't care about. You know, think about all the other things that Kamala Harris was talking about that she wanted to see change in this country for the better. You know, she's not getting not much support from Catholics over her issues or what she wants to stand on. No, instead they gravitate to the guy that wants to see Project 2025 realized. He's the guy that they'd gravitate to, who wants to put bans on women's health, for Christ's sake. You know, and hey, the Catholic Church is right there at his goddamn dinner. You know, that's one of the reasons why I don't practice Catholicism anymore, okay? It's a fucking joke. It's a shit show in itself, okay? It ain't what... it has absolutely nothing to do with the teachings of Jesus. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't. Because when any church will sit there and cover the asses of pedophiles, okay, by moving them here and moving them there so they're out of the legal site, okay, to me that's not... That's a fucking scam of a religion. That's why I don't practice it. I don't go to mass anymore. I don't do anything. I don't go to that because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the hypocrisy. I don't have to go to church to be a Christian, a good Christian. Okay? I don't have to go to any place. All I got to do is read the book, read how to be a good human being, and that's it. Okay? Other than that, I don't need a priest to do anything for me, because I don't have to confess to a man who has also got sins he has to confess to, okay? It's a bullshit practice, okay? It means nothing. I don't need him as a telephone booth to God. All right? And so I think that it's crazy that these people will go around, you know, like this, saying they're all about love and forgiveness and acceptance, and yet they're out there backing a guy who has absolutely nothing to do with any of those qualities. Okay? Not a damn thing. He has absolutely nothing to do with it. And I just feel that, you know, this is another example of, you know, why religions are a danger to human existence. We shouldn't have any religions at all, okay? And, you know, and the Catholic Church has got a pretty dark history, if anyone cares to look it up, okay? They've done their share of trying to impose their will on other countries and other tribes, or whatever you want, it's other civilizations. They've tried, okay, with the help of the England, ancient England there, okay? That's what they were all about. And keep in mind, the witch trials, that was Christianity right there, okay? So don't tell me that, oh, they were so much better than all the other religions. No, they were just the same. They were just the same. They just did their horrors in a different way, okay? And they're still at it. So, you know, when Sinead O'Connor, years ago, back in 93 or 4 it was, made that Saturday Night Live skit, you know, where she ripped up the picture of the Pope. Hey, I get it. I get it. She was sick of the hypocrisy. Sick of how that religion really meddled in Ireland's history, and not in a good way. So yeah, other people didn't get it, okay, because it's supposed to be a Christian nation. No, other people didn't get it because they didn't like the idea of what she did. But hey, she's got a right to say what she wants. Unfortunately, she's not with us anymore. But the fact is she made a statement, and it was true, okay. And she didn't like the hypocrisy. Neither do I. Neither do I. And none of you should either. Because hypocrisy, for a lot of you, is what led you to follow and kiss the ring of Donald Trump. Because you're so good at being a hypocrite, you're all in his fucking league now. So I feel like, you know, we've had enough of that. Enough. I mean, I'm really sick of this buffet of hypocrisy that we're getting in this country these days, and I think we've had enough of it. And as far as I'm concerned, if I was president, the churches would all be taxed. Okay, if you're gonna exist here and you're gonna start meddling in with politics, you're gonna get taxed. Period. All right. So let's go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
That's fucked up.
This is me.
This is me. This is me!
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
What will you tell your kids? That you voted for a felon and a criminal, supported a man found guilty by a citizen jury, went into the voting booth happy to pull the lever for the only former president in history to bear the mark of criminal shame. Will you tell them that breaking the law is how they should live their lives? That lying to their families about porn stars and hush money is how they should behave? Do you want your son to treat women like a man who was found to have committed sexual assault? Do you want your daughter to be a victim of a man like him?
You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Hey, when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the...
Will you tell them that he was honest, that he was a good man,
Very fine people on both sides.
that he treated people the way you've taught them?
Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
Will you tell them you're proud of his cruelty, happy with the ugly insults,
I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers.
the attacks on women, and the endless lies, that the chaos, death, and danger he brought was worth it? We know it's hard to walk away and put country over party, but your kids are watching. You're not just voting for your future, you're voting for theirs.
Welcome to the Trump 2024 convention, brought to you by Project 2025. This week in the horrible city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you'll see the best of the Trump Project 2025 party. It's a bold vision for a bright future. With Trump Project 2025, you'll love how new tariffs will make everything more expensive and set off runaway inflation. We know you'll appreciate paying for the big tax cut our struggling billionaires need. When you seniors are done freeloading, check out Project 2025's plan to end Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. So get out of that nursing home bed and get back to work. And ladies, this convention has so much in store for you. With Project 2025, you'll learn how good you'll have it in the kitchen. Girls, if your marriage isn't working out, you'll need Project 2025's helpful tips to keep the romance alive, even if he's abusive, because we're getting rid of divorce. And if Mr. Wrong gets you pregnant, welcome to motherhood, because we've ended Roe v. Wade and we're going to criminalize birth control. And minorities, well, you didn't need those silly voting rights anyway. For you Jews, Muslims, Mormons, and other fake religions, you'll get a head start on learning America is a Christian nation. Project 2025 is Donald Trump's plan for your future, and it couldn't be any brighter.
Project 2025 Bright Future Guarantee applies to white evangelical Christian men only. Other conditions may apply. Offer not valid in a functioning republic.
Vladimir Putin is a dictator, a war criminal, a murderer responsible for slaughtering thousands of Ukrainian civilians and causing death and destruction around the world. He's silenced dissent in his country, erased people from history, poisoned journalists, and imprisoned opponents. Every American president from Harry Truman to Barack Obama and Joe Biden have stood up against Soviet and Russian dictators. Every American president except one.
I think Putin's been a very strong leader for Russia. I think in terms of leadership, he's getting an A.
As president, Donald Trump shared our vital security secrets with Russia. Even after leaving office, Trump, sitting in Mar-a-Lago with stolen American intelligence files, had long, secret calls with Putin. What are they talking about? What is he giving Putin? What secrets has he shared? What has he promised the Russian dictator?
Do you have a relationship with Vladimir Putin, a conversational relationship?
I do have a relationship.
Trump puts Russia first, not America. He's not just wrong, he's dangerous. Donald Trump won't stand up to Vladimir Putin, so it's up to all of us to stand up to Donald Trump.
Attention. Are you a Republican member of Congress? Have you suffered exhaustion or exasperation from defending Trump's indefensible comments and behavior? Have you found yourself wondering if cat cooking or weather-controlling lasers are out to get you? Then this message is for you. If you or a loved one are experiencing craziness fatigue, dropping polls, dry mouth, principal's amnesia, lowered truth tolerance, diarrhea, rambling, unexplained hate gain, or an all-consuming guilt when making eye contact, you may be entitled to electoral annihilation. Call the Trumpism hotline today to receive our free information kit. Don't wait. You may be entitled to substantial losses in the House and Senate. And if you call now, you'll also receive a Harris presidency. Also, even if you don't call, your free information kit will be waiting for you in the parking lot after you drop off your office keys. Offer valid in all 50 states. No one should have to suffer from Trumpism. Make this important call today, you piece of shit.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Alright, welcome back everybody. Alright, so I got another video. This one is just shy of 15 minutes long, but it's a pretty good video, I think. The guy, I don't think I've ever put any of his videos up here before, but he brought up a topic of conversation here, or something he wanted to talk about, that really is something that I think a lot of people, as we're going through this election cycle, are kind of, you know, trying to understand in the back of their mind. And I think, you know, as we approach November, this is going to be something that we'll be discussing even after the election. And it's a troubling thing that's happened in our society, where we seem to have a growing movement of stupidity being accepted in our country. And, you know, a lot of people trying to wonder why that is. And I think this guy kind of nails it pretty good as to why we're living through this era of, you know, people where it's okay to be stupid, and it's okay for stupid people to get their way and to be heard. So let's jump into this video here and get you on the other side.
It's your favorite hairy woodsman today, and I have a new video here. Thank you for clicking on my thumbnail. I'm going to talk about something that's been on my mind for quite some time. I have to, while I talk, tend to the fire as well. I'm out here in this beautiful nature reserve. I come here now and then, and did you hear that? That was the ice. You know, one of the best things about being out in nature, being out hiking, is that I'm usually all alone, which means that there are no idiots here. The creative trolls will now write in the comments. Well, I can see one at least, but apart from that, I'm all alone and out here usually, and it's beautiful, it's wonderful. But if you go to a city, there are idiots everywhere. Everywhere I look, there are stupid people. Yeah, I know that you know the feeling. You know? But let me talk a little bit about this celebration of stupidity. We see it in popular culture. We see it in society in general. Stupidity and a shallowness is being celebrated, and that's not a good thing. Let me just start off by reading a quote from the Daily Wire, a massive echo chamber, the way I see it. And this was Ben Shapiro, one of the talking heads there, who said this. He said the following: "You can spend years researching these topics. You can read all of the books, or you could just come and hang out with me here every week and know more on all of these topics than all your leftist friends. That's what Ben Shapiro said. Now, I'm not a leftist, but I must say that this is one of the most moronic, idiotic things I've heard in a very long time, actually. And it goes against everything I believe in. Now, I would say you should read the books, you should study, you should get into the topics before you form an opinion. One thing is that it's of course dangerous to just listen in blind faith to someone on the internet, and that's why I always say that we should remain students our entire lives. We should read the books. We should absolutely read the books. It should be part of our of your lifestyle. Now, and when you study something, you usually find out that it's more complex than you thought. You know, what we're talking about here is the rise of anti-intellectualism. It's a complicated word, I guess, but it's been going on for a long time. I'm going to read another quote for you. This is Isaac Asimov, who said that, and this quote is a little bit longer. He said, "I believe that every human being with a physically normal brain can learn a great deal and be surprisingly intellectual. I believe that what we badly need is social approval of learning and social rewards for learning. We can all be members of the intellectual elite." It was written in Newsweek, 21st of January 1980. So a few years ago. Now, anti-intellectualism is the reason why we see this celebration of stupidity. And anti-intellectualism is a distrust and a contempt for people who, well, has expertise and spend time studying and who might actually be called experts in their field. It is the opposition to intellectuals, higher education, and scientific thinking and scientific method. It is dismissing facts that has been proven to be true through scientific method, often replacing it with dogmatic thinking and religion. Anti-intellectualism allows people to replace facts with beliefs, and those two things are not the same. I'm going to quote Asimov again. "The attitude that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge." So here's an idea that I have. I'm going to start a garage and I'm going to repair cars. Now, I'm not a mechanic, but I can watch a couple of YouTube videos, you know, form an opinion concerning how to fix brakes and stuff in cars. Should be good enough. Yeah. And actually, if I just spend a couple of hours watching a few videos and so on, I'm better than the experts on this. I'm better than the mechanics, right? Of course, that it it's silly, of course, and it would be illegal, and rightly so. But I'm just telling you this because there are actual experts out there, and I think that we should appreciate what they're doing. When you go to a hospital, let's say you break a leg, do you want someone who went to university and became a medical a surgeon to fix your leg, or just someone who spent a couple of hours forming an opinion on how to fix legs to do that? And thanks to Matthias Treeman, who gave me that awesome example, by the way. We need to respect that people spend time and many years reading the books. It's important. Now, we can't all go to university. Some people, they just don't have the money, or they come from a family tradition where you don't go to university. So I'm not suggesting that you have to go to university to be an intellectual, not at all. It's an attitude. It's an attitude about being curious. It's this willingness to learn. It's this, yeah, it's an attitude. I want to say that it's actually keeping the child in us alive, if you know what I mean. We need to remain curious, and I think your life will be more interesting if you stay curious and if you remain a student. Read the books, and then read more books. Now, historically speaking, anti-intellectualism tends to lead to you know, things like banning books and art in general, burning books even. It tends to replace proper educational standards with religious dogma, and recently we have seen things like, you know, the flat earth movement, or that thing there, the flat earthers, young earth, creationist people, and things like that. Now there will be people writing in the comments that well, I know nothing, and I should look up and then a name, you know, look up and then a name. You know, it's like concerning flat earth, it's like I never thought we would get to that, you know, and it's actually quite a recent thing in world history. It's but I won't get into that whole thing. Those who feel that they need to write in the comments that the Earth is 6,000 years old and it's flat and all of that, go ahead. You know, I just hope that you can pick up some proper books and read them. You know, it would be awesome if you did. So these are the areas that I can think of where we can see anti-intellectualism, and some of these might surprise you. Now, we see it in universities now, actually, where a woke ideology has been allowed to infiltrate many of the, well, faculties, as far as I understand. We see things like critical race theory. That shouldn't be a thing. It's extremely anti-intellectual, if you ask me. We see it in dogmatic religious groups, mega churches in the USA, Islamic organizations, and many others. And I think most importantly, we saw it during COVID. We saw how an anti-scientific, and follow me through here with my line of thought here, please. We saw how governments used a very anti-scientific approach to handle, I'm doing this with my fingers, to handle things, while the real experts were silenced. During COVID, the anti-intellectual movement grew. During the lockdowns and all of that, it got a lot worse, and people, a lot of people at least, they lost trust in science. Now, why is that? I think it's mainly because those people who were portrayed as experts, they were not the experts. And the attitude from governments was that you shouldn't question science, but that's not how science works. You should always question science. Now I realize that this is not necessarily a very popular topic, and I don't get many friends for saying this, I guess. But I think it's important, and I think we need to call out this celebration of stupidity and ignorance, because it is getting worse. And it's not only in popular media, what's it called, popular culture, that we see it, reality TV and things like that, Paradise, Love Island, or whatever it's called. We see it in politics, we see it in mainstream media a lot. I think they are the worst. And it's it needs to start with us. I think we need to take back this idea that as human beings we should be curious, we should remain students. And some people, they don't understand what I mean by that. It's very simple. Remaining students means that you remain curious. Pick up a book, go for a walk in an area where you haven't been before, and look at the trees and wonder what's going on here, out here in nature. The world is a magnificent place, and we need to take back this childish curiosity, and that's how we get back on track. But what do I know? I'm just your friendly hairy woodsman out here by the river, and I hope you enjoyed the video. This channel is now 7 years old. I have no plans of quitting, so if you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope you watched it, all of it anyway. But Bjorn, I like his idea that people should remain students. I think I like that. People should always stay a student, because nobody knows everything. Nobody, not even Donald Trump, knows everything. Nobody does. Okay, we're always trying to learn about our world and about things, and we can't understand everything. And so anyone, who goes around and says they got the answer to this, they got the answer to that, okay, like Trump does, these people are really the height of stupidity, because nobody with any brains at all will ever say that they know everything. Even a scientist will say they're not sure about something, or they don't know everything about it, okay? But they're always learning. They're always a student, okay? And that's one of the things about a scientist or a doctor that should be admired, is that with all their degrees and everything that they know, they still will admit that they don't know everything yet, okay? And anyone who does that is smart in itself. But people who will not listen to those who are educated and learned and understand things that many people don't, for the uneducated to call them, oh, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. People that do that, attack the educated, are also are very ignorant, because even if those educated people tried to explain to them why they're wrong, they don't have the intelligence to understand, okay? And therefore, if they don't understand what you're saying, they think you're just word salad, right? Just like that fellow there who complained about Kamala and her word salad thing, okay? Which, I labeled as a person suffering with ITI, okay? So that's a person who's not very well educated, and he can't understand what's being told to him by someone who is educated, all right? And, if the person had any brains at all, would say, okay, well, I don't understand because I don't know enough about this. And like Bjorn says, well, if you don't know enough about that, then read. Look things up, read stuff, okay? Educate yourself if you must. But learn about something before you commit to a fucking opinion. And that's one of the more important things, is if you're smart enough to know better, then you will take that time to read things, learn about stuff, because every issue, no matter how black and white you think it is, really isn't. On a world with billions of people living on it, with all these various issues that people have to deal with day to day, it is never a black and white answer to any of it, okay? You have to look at all sides of a problem before you can commit to an opinion. Too many people these days, they don't, because, like I said, they're not educated. They don't understand. They can't connect the dots because it's too complicated for them to understand. So what do? They run to the religion. They ask a priest, or they, what they should believe in, okay? They want to just believe that what they're saying is right, okay? Even though they can't prove it themselves or even understand why, they're believing in it. To them, it's just easier to just swallow the Kool-Aid than it is to fucking look at what's in that Kool-Aid, okay? And unfortunately, this is the core of what makes MAGA, MAGA, okay? And why so many people today, even outside of MAGA, really are, a lot in some ways like them, okay? Maybe not as bad, maybe not bad enough to become a cult member of that group, but there's a lot of Americans today who really do the same thing. They don't take the time to really understand a problem before they commit to a fucking opinion. They just, hear something, and if it doesn't, sit well with them, I don't like it. Just pick a topic, okay? Obviously, men are never going to understand everything about women's health or their issues, and I'm not talking about the doctors, I'm just talking about the voters in general. Men are always going to take this hardline stand against abortion, not even caring about what it means to the women that they're fucking over by doing that, okay? Because they don't understand. And do you think they'll sit down with their wife, their girlfriend, their mother, and ask them about what it's like? No, they won't do it. They could care less. It's not their problem, but it's their issue whenever it comes to doing something like that, right? Even though it's not their problem and they want to wash their hands of it, they still want to be there to prevent what they believe is a bad thing. Okay? That's the arrogance of these men in this supposed Catholic, all love, all forgiveness faith, okay? These Christians, they are there to lord over the women, and that's ridiculous. And, and then you take a look at some of these people, and some of them aren't even Republican now. Keep this in mind. Some of these people aren't even Republican, but yet you got your people who believe that the earth is flat. Believe it or not, we still have that in our society today. Okay, hey, it don't matter. I mean, going all the way back to Thomas Edison or even further than that, Einstein. No, we still got our flat earthers today, okay? Doesn't matter. The satellite's telling you otherwise, okay? We even got people out there that think the earth is only 6,000 years old. That dinosaurs lived alongside of the cavemen. Really? Sure, I'm sure that must have worked out okay. Then there's people out there who, to this day, still think that we never went to the moon. That it was just a hoax. The whole thing was a hoax. And all those astronauts are just fake. Okay? Then you have the people who swallowed Trump's bullshit about COVID. Okay? And they still, to this day, think that the whole thing was a hoax, even though there's over 1 million dead Americans and, so many of them Republicans. Then you got Alex Joneses that bitched about Sandy Hooks was a hoax, again. And then people who believe that Trump won the election and it was stolen from him, okay? And then, what is it, the people that are bitching, they're teaching critical race theory in the grade schools, which isn't happening. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Those are some of the more memorable issues of stupidity in our country, and you can find in MAGA people who believe in all of those things I just laid out. Now, there's some outside of MAGA who might believe in one or two of those things. Why they do, I don't know. Okay, they're just like one step in MAGA, the other one on a banana peel. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, but. This is what we have in our country, and it seems like the more we march forward in time, the more the stupidity seems to reign in our society and less focus on education. Christ, I mean, they want to close down goddamn public schools. They want to ban books. They want to stop people from learning anything. I mean, it's gone that far where people are looking at education as a bad thing. Okay? You know, and it's like, well, hello, that fucking little black box you're sitting there talking on all day long, texting, typing, playing video games on. If it wasn't for educated people, that wouldn't even exist. That fucking TV set behind me, that wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for science and technical know-how. Is that fake? Is your cell phone a hoax? Christ. Those shots that some of you get for flu is that a hoax? Why do you get that if you think it's a hoax? Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's the hypocrisy of the whole situation. All right, they live in a world with possibilities all around them, things being done every day, and yet instead of just reveling in that, you know, and understanding it, they just want to, oh, it's a hoax. Okay, even the bad things. I mean, why aren't they calling what's happening in Israel a hoax, right? You know, that's something that's going on. You don't hear anybody saying that's all a hoax, right? But Sandy Hook was a hoax, right? You know, it's just bullshit. You know, created by people who are really stupid. You know, Trump, Jones, these other people here that you know, Alex Jones and all those others. Okay, that's what's created that. These people, because they have a mouth, because they know how to, with charisma, tell you a goddamn lie, and it sounds like the truth. I think that really is what's driving this momentum towards anti-intellectualism. Okay? Because people put faith in these mouths. They put faith that these people know what they're talking about. Okay? Because, well, for one thing, it's sensational. Okay? When somebody says that what you just saw, that mass shooting didn't happen, it's a hoax. You grab people's attention right off the bat. Why does he think it's a hoax? Well, he lays down a 10-page excuse as to why he thinks it's a hoax, and guess what? It sounds logical to the people listening, but it's bullshit. Because if you're on the ground and you're seeing this happening, these people are dead. These kids are all dead. You know, and then they question whether a person is generally crying or not. Okay, you see what I'm saying? It begins with a person's mouth creating the atmosphere of stupidity. And that's why they had to go after Alex Jones to shut him down. Okay? Unfortunately, free speech comes with a price. You know? And, you know, it might be good on one side of the argument, but it can be very dangerous on the other side, especially when you have a willing public that's willing to just absorb what you're saying as the truth. It's like they forget. Not everybody's interested in telling you the truth. When you go buy a car, do you trust that the guy selling you a car is going to tell you everything? Going to be truthful to you about it? You know, or are you taught from growing up to be careful about people trying to sell you snake oil, okay? Because these people are out to get money. But hey, when it comes to Donald Trump, oh, he doesn't have no ulterior motive, right? His gold sneakers and $10,000 watches and, you know, Bibles that with his name in it. No, Christ almighty, he ain't got nothing in mind for, you know, geez, yeah. I can trust him, sure. No, but, you know, I guess, you know, for these people, it's easy to sell them a bed of goods, okay? It really is. That's why so many of them fall prey to scams. We have to look out for the dumbass in this country. That's unfortunately. If there's any shit that's going to happen, you know, you can always bank on a conservative MAGA lunatic to step into a bear trap, okay, when it's got a bear trap sign pointed down at it, okay? That you have to remember that these people are the exception to every rule because they don't have the brains to fucking understand where they're wrong. All right? They can't understand it. You know, and I know it pisses people off when I talk like that about a group of people, but you know what? They're insultive in their own way. Okay? They come after me. They come after anyone who's a Kamala supporter, and they bash the shit out of them too. Not even understanding where the hell they're coming from. And when we try to pose just one fucking question at them to get an answer, they can't even answer it. They deserve the tongue lashings that they get from the rest of the general public, okay? Because they haven't earned the respect that what they know is actually helpful and truthful. They haven't earned that yet, okay? They still haven't shown us why they think Donald Trump was cheated out of his victory. We still don't got any information after all this time. Not a piece of evidence anywhere that shows that they were right and we were wrong. Still waiting on that answer. You know, where's the Kraken? You know? I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, I can understand how somebody can really find it amazing that, you know, people that are uneducated and stuff are more listened to than those who are educated. And maybe it's because we look at people that are educated as being someone in authority, you know, and we have a tendency, and I think in all of us, to reject people of authority, okay? We have a tendency to, like with the cops. I mean, I see videos all the time. People get pulled over by a cop and they get really argumentative. Even though they did something wrong, like they sped or they went through a red light or something, they get all defensive and they get argumentative. Like, you have no right to tell me how to drive, or no, you did something wrong. You know you did wrong, but you don't want to be called out on it because it embarrasses you, and you'll do all this stuff to try to get away from it. You know, I think we have that. When someone knows something that we don't, we're afraid of that. You know, and certain people out there understand that hey, you know, I could say all kinds of stuff and these people would be too afraid to challenge me on it, you know, because I'm Donald Trump or something, and they'll believe it. You know, I think really that's kind of how it starts, is we're afraid of people that know better. Because, you know, when we leave home, we leave our parents behind because they raise us and they try to teach us right from wrong. We want to say, okay, we went through that, now it's my turn to be the boss. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, you can't be the boss. You know, you have to earn that stripe. Even as a parent can't always be right. Okay? We don't understand that even when we're growing up because we're too young to understand that. But even with a parent, they're winging it. And the thing is that as a kid, we get tired of being told what's right and wrong and being disciplined. So when we break free of that, we go out on our own. We're like, fuck the world. I'm gonna do what the hell I want now. No one's gonna tell me what not to do. I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna party. I'm gonna rape. I'm gonna kill. I'm gonna do all these things. Okay, because people were always telling me never to do anything. You know, and it's gotten out of control. And that also includes people that are educated. People that are educated are looked at as, oh, they know more than me. I ain't gonna listen to him. He's an idiot. I never like him. You know. And Trump has said as much about people like, I can't remember his name now, the CDC director, said pretty much the same thing about him. And when he said that, all of a sudden MAGA's echoing the same damn words. Okay, so there you go. And I think, you know, because, you know, maybe a lot of people going to school or graduating school, maybe not performing as well as previous generations did when going to school. These people graduating school are really going through a system that's broken, and they're really not educating them as well. And so we got a lot of people out there who don't really understand the facts of life and don't really understand, you know, truth and dishonesty. And so, I mean, I've heard issues where kids will actually argue with a teacher in class, you know, like the kid knows better, the student knows better, okay? You know, it's about math or some damn thing, okay? And the parent will protect, you know, say, you did right, okay? It's just that, it's things like that, little things like that perpetuate, you know? So I feel like, you know, the education level as a whole in the country has declined, you know? And there's other countries that are seeing the same thing, like in Japan. They're also noticing the same sort of declination in education levels and with their students as well. And so, you know, we have a problem. And, you know, I'm hoping that there's a way that people will try to fix that, because what we need is more brain power in this country. We need more people that understand truth and dishonesty, and people who believe in the facts that are presented to them. Because hell, if they're jurors in a goddamn God help you, okay, you're all going to be found guilty whether you're innocent or not, okay? Because to them, they're only going to focus on the sensationalism of the argument of the lawyer instead of the facts they deliver, or lack thereof. All right, so that's it for today, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend. So please subscribe, comment, and share, and keep your ears open for any health-related matters, and treat each other kind out there. And I will talk to you guys later. Take care.